Welcome back to the channel. This is the Action Figure Grader, and I am pre-recording just for you some videos for while I am at the beach in June. And a number of you have asked me to give some recent sales prices on eBay for the Clone Wars line of figures. So I picked out some of my favorites that sold over the last week or two that I wanted to go through. We've got single carded figures, we've got some vehicles, one prototype, and a few of the multi-packs that we always talk about when I do these Clone Wars market updates. I say this every time I do a Clone Wars market update, and this is honestly why I hate doing Clone Wars price guides from eBay, is because I want them. I want all of them. They are so awesome. I mean, there's something about, especially these ones that have like the cartoon style of figures, like this Asajj Ventress. I love this figure. I mean, there's something about that face sculpt and the deco on her outfit that is so awesome. I mean, I'm a huge Asajj Ventress fan, if you hadn't noticed already. But look at that figure. I mean, this is just like an alternate reality, man. I just love Asajj Ventress. I love the style of this figure. This one sold for $46, $47 plus free shipping. I mean, I would buy that in a heartbeat. God, that is just awesome. Next up, another one of my favorites is Savage Opress. This is just another great face sculpt. I mean, look at that face sculpt, if I can get a good close-up here. None of these, of course, have the great close-up, but there you go. Look at that. I mean, that's awesome right there. That is just great paint work on that. He's got that kind of, I don't know, it's like a samurai armor looking thing. I mean, that's just awesome. I love that figure too. And that one sold for $80. This seller had a bunch of modern stuff, SLC treasures. I've never bought from this seller. 9,500 transactions, 99.6% positive feedback. So if you're looking for any of these modern items like the Clone Wars or the Legacy Collection, this seller does have a ton out there. So I don't know this seller at all, though, so I can't speak to how good they are, but they just seem like they have a lot. None of them are like perfect, but you know, especially for openers, if you're like just buying openers, he's got some really nice stuff. So this one is the Savage Opress CW59, and that seller has two of them. One of them did sell at $80. Next up, same seller has one of the more famous ones from the Clone Wars, CW45, and that's the animated style Darth Sidious. This is another figure that I really like, and I would absolutely buy in a heartbeat. That hand, there's something about that really stylized hand, and then that cloak. I mean, whoever designed these figures originally, whoever the Hasbro engineers were that came up with these figure sculpts, hats off to them, man. I mean, they are just awesome figures. So I love that one, and that one's always very pricey. This one's really held its value very well. It's very, very sought after. It must be a low manufacturing run because it never fails that these go for a lot of money. So $130 was the sales price on Darth Sidious, that animated style. Clone Commander Jet is another one I really like. That one sold in an auction for $77.20. That one is CW38. So here's the back of the card there. Another really kind of nice sculpt. The thin legs and the thin arms really capture that kind of style from the cartoon. So I really like the way that one looks too. Next up, we've got Shaak Ti. This, I don't know why I included this one. It's a Legacy Collection figure. I do this every time I do a Clone Wars, where the art style is so similar and I don't look that close to it. But this one did sell recently, so I went ahead and included it, even though I knew it. I was like, this is Legacy Collection, don't include this. But I included it anyway. Legacy Collection, which I'll try to do another pre-film a Legacy Collection update proper, and I'll re-include Shaak Ti in there for while I'm away. I'm going to try and get some content out. I've already filmed a Power of the Force 2 market update, and one other one. I've already forgotten what it was now, but anyway, I'll try and do a Legacy Collection market update as well. But that one snuck in today. $200, big number on Shaak Ti. So that's another really cool looking figure. Back to the Clone Wars proper, though. This seller had a really nice run of a bunch of Clone Wars figures. These were all together, and these are some of my favorites from the line. The Battle Droid, So What, Count Dooku is one I really like because that's another stylized figure. We got the Magna Guard, the Rocket Battle Droid IG-86, Plo Koon, and then Ahsoka Tano. That's the one with the Road of the Hutt figure. I like that one. And then the Yoda is another one I really like, the really big-eyed Yoda. And there's an Anakin in there, and then a General Grievous. So it's a pretty nice lot. And that lot sold for $230 plus $40 shipping, so $270 for those 10 figures. Really, really nice there. And some of those are like the I can't remember what the deal was. You guys can correct me. It was like a special offer, or like first day issue type thing. So some of those did have the sticker for the first day issue. So that's pretty cool. Next up, we've got a Mandalorian speeder with a Mandalorian Warrior inside. That one sold for $90. I found a couple of sales for this particular item that were about that same price. I wanted to show you the disparity between the buy it now price and then an auction for one of the more sought-after battle packs, and that's the Mandalorian Warriors battle pack. This is always one that's very sought after now, and it includes, 4 Mandalorian Warriors and like a battle pack. So in an auction, it sold for $150, and then in a buy it now, I found 4 different sales in buy it nows that were all between $225 and $245. So that just shows you, if you can be patient and wait for an auction, you can get a lot better deal, which, we always know that's the case even with vintage stuff, but it's a pretty big price disparity when you think about it on a percentage basis. $225, $250, let's call it, in that ballpark, versus $150. I mean, that's a huge savings if you can wait for an auction on one of those. Next up, Legends of the Clone Wars. This is another really cool one, and they reused the Count Dooku there, along with the Battle Droid, Grievous, Anakin, and Obi-Wan. So that's a really nice looking pack, and certainly those are Legends of the Clone Wars. And that box set sold over in the UK for 120 pounds, which is 160 US dollars. Another one is the Geonosis Assault. This is the one that includes that plug-in that goes on the Republic gunship, if you wanted to, I guess. Well, this is the one that's got a little pod that's on the ground, but I thought there was another one that had like a pod that'll plug in to the actual, yeah, this is, let's see, bubble turret. Yeah, so it does clip on to the gunship. So that's pretty cool. That's kind of multi-purpose. Very weird thing there to have it on the ground, but I think we actually saw that in the prequel trilogy, right? There was like that one scene, the Battle of Geonosis, where they had, they walked by a few of those, if memory serves. Anyway, that battle pack sold for $170. This is another really expensive one. Even I was shocked by this sales price. This one's always been expensive, but man, $430 for the ARC Troopers battle pack. That is a massive number, and it does really present nicely. This is one you'd probably keep in the case, keep in the box, just with that really cool 3D effect for the grounded Republic gunship there. And then we had the Attack Shuttle, Republic Attack Shuttle. That's another huge item, and that one sold for $150. Same seller, SLC Treasures. He had 2 of those available, free shipping, $150. Both of those sold. Here's one that I don't remember at all, and maybe I've covered it in the past and I just forgot, which is very likely given my age and my lack of memory comprehension and trying to keep all this stuff straight. But this is a cool set for kids to play with. Harkens back to when kids actually went outside instead of get on their computers to play Fortnite. I'm looking squarely at my son right now. But this is a pretty cool set. Clone Commander Blaster, $240. Huge number on that one. Next up was the Droid Gunship, another huge ship that probably doesn't get its proper credit for how cool it is. And I've seen a few pre-production prototypes for this particular item in the past. $175 for that one. We had the Rise of Boba Fett. I always had to show this. The Rise of Boba Fett Ultimate Battle Pack with the Slave one, and then the very stylized Bosk. I've always wanted to get one of those and loose grade him just because I love Bosk. But That's a really cool set. That one sold in an auction. Obviously, the box had a lot of wear, but in an auction, $207.50. You're going to pay a little bit more for one where the box is still in good shape. This is Ahsoka Tano's Jedi Starfighter, $225 on that one. That's a big number there for the Jedi Starfighter for Ahsoka. The modified one for, I think it was Anakin. It was either, I think it was Obi-Wan or Anakin. I can't remember. There's another one that's like this in blue that goes for a lot less, but Ahsoka's is the more expensive of the two, obviously. The ARC 170 Fighter, $360. I mean, this is proof that even though the Clone Wars kind of content is really not there anymore, people still love the vehicles. They're still willing to pay big, big money for them. The ARC 170 Fighter, the Toys R Us exclusive, sold for $360. My favorite, you guys know that. This is one of my favorites. I've always wanted to buy this one. This one and the tank, the turbo tank, are my two favorites. But the ATTE All-Terrain Tactical Enforcer, absolutely awesome packaging on this one. $400 free shipping for that one. And then I do have one prototype that I wanted to show you. This is a pretty easy to find one, but this is the 2003 Clone Wars Durge. This figure in a prototype format is not that hard to find. It seems like he pops up every few months on eBay, but this price was fantastic at $103.99. Unpainted first shot prototype. That's a really good one to get and send it over to CAS for their loose prototype grading, although it is very pricey to grade prototypes with them. But that's a really cool looking item. This one did have date stamps on the feet. I have seen some that are in alternate color schemes that do not have date stamps. Those are obviously earlier kind of prototypes, but this first shot prototype is unpainted and sold for $104 plus shipping. That's a really, really good deal for a prototype from the Clone Wars. So anyway, just a quick update. All of these items kind of sold within the last week or so. Just wanted to give you guys some content while I am away, relaxing, quote unquote. I put that in quotes because I'm not going to be relaxing. I'm going to be chasing my kids everywhere and cleaning up after them, but we'll do our best to have a good time and I'll get a good tan. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.